We are fighting for one and only thing, and that's clean water and a healthy planet for future generations. My brother was talking to me about the story that my mom used to tell us when I was young. It involves Mi'kmaq warriors, 6 of them, out in the woods. They were traveling, and they were surrounded by 1,000 warriors. Instead of taking to flight or being scared, one of the Ginups just started stomping his foot on the ground. And all the trees and all the animals turned into warriors. They're friendly, allied warriors. And that's how I am envisioning the stomping that we did at the very beginning of this opening, is that the stomping will going to be used as a call-out for our allies of all nations to help us with our struggles to maintain clear water and clean air and good land. Well, what I want to mention is this. This is the thing that I want to bring to forefront. We are fighting for Aboriginal title. We want to get there, and we want to get there soon. The thing about it is that we have to do a whole bunch of little steps at the very beginning to be able to get there. And one of the things that is totally necessary that we are involved in is this concept of consultation. We need to be involved in this process.
I think it's important for us to be involved with this because we are pursuing a larger Aboriginal title case, and just as a paper trail to say that we've attempted to talk with province or talk with the federal government, and us addressing our concerns and sharing our opinions and stating what we want and what we don't want in terms of proposed projects or proposed developments. If we engage in these processes, it allows us to keep a record of those processes. And if the province or the federal government is not willing to talk to us genuinely, with open mind, with transparency and with a good open mind and open heart, then those decisions aren't deemed valid. So what we're trying to do is take the process of consultation, because it's been a problem in the past, and we want to try a new approach. And this new approach would be, as Ken has said, us making the calls or calling the shots about who's going to be at the table, what we're going to be discussing, and how consultation will be dealt with. So much that it even says where these consultations will happen. We've already made the decision that if we have any consultations, it's going to happen here in our own community, and we don't need to go outside to be meeting with province or federal agents or what have you to make decisions. They need to come and sit with us at our tables under our own conditions, and we need to assert what our priorities are, and we need to tell them whether we agree or disagree with their proposed projects. And I think it's important for all of us as community members to be on board and to be informed about these decisions and about the things that are happening or taking place, because we've heard from Chief Candace Paul that if you're not at the table, whether you're at the table or not, you're on the menu. And so that means that decisions will be made with or without you, regardless if you're there or not. So I'd rather be at the table and telling whoever it is that, no, you can't pursue this project because we believe that this is our traditional territory, because we hunt here, because we fish here, because we pick medicines here, because we want this to be a healthy, beautiful environment for our future generations. And when we're able to express that, and that's written in word, then we could use that as a tool or as a weapon for pursuing title at a larger court case or at the Supreme Court level. So it's really important for us to keep our ducks in a row and to make sure we do everything properly, or mina'a, because if we don't have this record, then it could be used against us in the courts.
Before what consultations constituted was that any proponent coming into our territory and wants to do extraction of any resources, all they had to do was pick up anybody from anywhere, as long as he was native, to give him a couple $100 and say that they had consulted with the native people. What I'm suggesting here is we put a structure in, a legal body, a delegated body that can and only will do consultation meaningfully with the province. This delegation will be properly instructed and properly make decisions through the grassroots people. If we make it ours and we use it correctly, the process of consultation can become a good weapon and not something that is used against us. Because no matter what happens, the courts have made it a condition that all decisions go through consultation. And if we're involved or not, they are going to say, were you consulted? If we say yes, and if we say no, then they'll say, well, somebody else was. And if we refuse to take part in consultations, the judge will have said, you have given up your rights to be able to say that you don't want it. We need to control it. That way we know who, what, where, when, why, and how the consultations are being conducted.
Decisions are being made without consultation, or what is perceived as consultation. The first inkling that I received was when I received a letter from one of the councillors, and a letter had come from the province, and they had given Iapjiw a deadline for them to respond. When I was reading the letter, the deadline had already passed, and I asked, "What happens now? This has already taken place. The deadline is done. What does it mean?" And I was told that it means that by not voicing our opinion before the due date, that we were in fact saying yes to the project. By being silent means yes, we agree. That was frightening for me, and I figured if decisions are being made that is affecting our lives and the lives of future generations, we need to be there. We need to respond to every request for consultation. We need to voice our opinion. We need to talk about the impact that it will have on our community, the impact that it will have on the environment. We need to be a strong voice, a voice that can protect the earth, and we have a responsibility. And that's why I think we need to be involved in this process. By sitting out, we are agreeing to stuff and without voicing our concerns, we don't have a leg to stand on. We need to be able to say, yes, but we said this was harmful. Yes, but we said we didn't want it. Yes, we thought it's going to affect the waters. If we don't do that, then how can we go on to protect it? because our silence have said, yes, go ahead, do it. That's why we need to be involved in the process.
The stomping, again, I repeat, is a call out to our brethren. We have formed a group called Iapjiw Maliaptasiktitiew to raise awareness of where we are going, to be able to hire a lawyer and to help us in terms of trying to deal with the problems regarding consultation.
When I first started realizing the importance of consultation was 2 years ago when we went to a court case for an injunction on SWN to stop. A lot of times what we went there for, what Elsie Book took, one of their arguments was that we weren't consulted. However, whether we were there or not, the government considered that we were consulted because they made the effort to consult us. It's just we weren't ready or we couldn't show up or whatever. Like, I wasn't back on chief and council then. I just got elected last year. And before that I was against fracking and for indigenous rights, I guess. And but I always understood the importance of consultation because, like, what keeps being repeated over and over again is if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. You know, if no one's in there speaking on your behalf, then what, it's gonna go through and you won't even know what you said. Like a lot of times they say your silence is your consent, right? So at least now with this consultation delegation that that these guys have been working on, we feel we'll be more informed and we can keep the community more informed. And this is always open to anybody. This is not just restricted to these guys. We have a few guys missing that are in the delegation right now. That's Stan Francis and John Levi. And but they're open to the community, so anybody else wants to join in the delegation, they can join. Just go see one of these guys. And at Chief and Council, we're just happy that somebody's stepping forward and trying to move the community in a better direction and a more sustainable future for our children. And I just want to reiterate our support, and thank you.
Not only are we as Native people being threatened because of the threat to land and water, but everybody that lives around and in approximate close areas are being threatened as well. I do know that our allies are asking us to take the lead on this, and we are willing to. One of the reasons why we are taking the lead on this and we are willing to is because one of the things that I got from Idle No More is that it gave me the sense that I could rely on our allies to help us. The very first news program that I was watching at the time was presented by CBC, and it mentioned that Idle No More was on the rise, and they asked him if it was going to have any effect, and one of the respondents was said that yes, it will, because it's not one of just those risings that is happening now. They are actually getting from union. They are getting help from the unions. They are getting help from the non-Aboriginals and white people. So that gave me confidence to be able to say, yes, maybe this is the time to act on our responsibilities. The second thing that gave me confidence to be able to do this is a little bit later on, when John Levi was helping us lead the struggles against SWN. We needed boots on the ground, and he provided boots on the ground, and I knew that he would have my back when when we were having to do confrontations. So those two things actually gave me courage and confidence to be able to come up and say, yes, this is the time that we have been waiting for. When I started thinking about taking control of the consultation process, I asked Chief and Counsel to recognize legally a consultation delegation that will do all consultation on behalf of Wskwitqamu, on behalf of the grassroots people. And these consultations will be recognized legally in the court of law, so that somebody wants to do a consultation, it will have to be through this delegation. Otherwise, it will not have any legitimacy. Now that they have approved the delegation, and we can ask for further, anybody that is interested in joining this delegation, well, all I have to do is just make your wishes known. We want to involve as many people as possible. We want to involve everybody. We want to be transparent. We want to be able to tell people right straight in the face that this is what's happening in terms of what is going on with the consultations. We will be there. We will answer all your questions after each and every meeting, and we shall notify you of progress or any decisions that need to be made. And I am appealing to all the allies, are all non-Aboriginal Anglophones, Francophones, that have the same serious concerns about our environment.